So let's start now. Welcome to Software AG's webinar, an enterprise management system powered by ARIS. As a quick reminder for you, ARIS is the tool of choice to design, to analyze, to manage, and to optimize your business and your processes. ARIS is positioned as a leader for almost 20 years by leading analyst firms, and we can count on more than 25 years of business process experience. ARIS is trusted by more than 10 million users and thousands of leading companies. So today it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Simon Olberding as our ARIS expert. He's a product manager for ARIS business strategy and ARIS process governance and many more topics within the ARIS product lines. He will take us through a very concrete transformation example, and this he will do live in ARIS. I am working as a director in the ARIS product marketing. My name is Josèphe Blondaut, and I'm leading all topics around enterprise management system powered by ARIS. I will be your host today and the moderator of the session. At the end of the webinar, we will have a live question and answer session. So feel free in the meantime to post your question in the Q&A window. So already during the webinar, so we can answer that in the end. And if you have any other questions, as my colleague already stated, especially of technical nature, do use the chat window. My colleagues in the background will support you. So let's get starting now. So today's webinar is the first of a series of 3 webinars on enterprise management system powered by ARIS. The webinars is a story and they build on each other, and they will take you through the transformation story of a fictive car company. Today's episode is about transforming, so about how to turn your vision into results. So this first episode will take you through some really hard times of the company, because new competitors are entering the market, are putting pressure on price and service, so that the company gets into some trouble. So the company will have to learn how to turn their strategic vision into results with ARIS. So the manager will start some deep transformation project of the business model. And this will require to put in place a strategic vision, which needs in turn to be turned into operational vision. That means into processes, let's say. So, and that's where ARIS will come into play as an enabler of the transformation of the company from strategy to everyone. And the question is if this will lead to success. And as I said, we will have a fictive example today. But before we start with this story that takes you through the ARIS system and the fictive story, we want to show you a very short customer example that is using ARIS to support their strategic journey. So it's Enchevo. It's an energy company. They are located in the Benelux. Basically, they are the regional energy leader, and they are a key player in the Luxembourg's energy transition. So let's listen now.
Transformation is very wide, and it supports us in, of course, digital transformation, but also all the organizational challenges we have related to evolving towards the next level and implementing the business strategy. We use different tools for this transformation journey because it's a journey, and ARIS is very helpful to support us in getting the insights we need to get forward with that.
So basically what it says is that ARIS is supporting the organizational challenges of the company, that it helps to implement the business strategy and basically give them insight to move forward. If you want to review the video, it's available on the Software AG page in the reference area. So, and let's go now into some more details. So, as you can see, we have also several logos here on the slides. We have many customers. There are many companies, of course, using ARIS as the central point of their transformation strategy towards execution. And indeed, there are many reasons why a business needs to transform. I'm sure you know about it. So whether it's about high demanding customers, about fierce competition, or you need to keep pace with the competition or with the market or with the challenges, or you want to be the leader in your market, you want to enter a new market with an existing product or with a new product, or you want to win a new customer segment. So there are many reasons, but whatever you need for transformation, you will need a bridge between your strategy and your operation, and that's what basically ARIS gives you. Yeah, it supports your transformation from top to down, from defining the strategy, connecting to the people and to the processes, or setting standards, aligning with the stakeholder, and all of that in an integrated and a central system. So if you implement it, if you make it real, then the results basically will be secure, because you will be able to turn your strategy into an operative vision. Yeah. So as a result, it will reduce the project failures, because it won't be about having a new strategy in PowerPoint with nice slides, but it will be really about having a strategy that you connect to the working procedures, to the people, and to the business, basically. So that helps to reduce the failures, to decrease the cost, to be agile, and well, in the end, everyone wants to have that, to have satisfied customers. So it's all about that. As said, we have many customers. We have from the telecommunication area, Vodafone, Telefonica, Philips. I will come back to that later on in the webinar. But we have also from all different industries in all regions, really customers putting their strategy into operations with ARIS. And yeah, let me now hand over to my colleague, Simon, who will go through all these topics with you with a very concrete example of a thrilling transformation story of the company. So now it's your turn. So we have the slides, we just need the tone, and then you're on, Simon.
Now you should hear me. Okay, sorry,
Correct.
There was small technical difficulties from my side. So thank you, Joseph. So I want to introduce you to our running example. And as you can see, there's a car on the slide, and our running example is about a car company, a fictive car company called United Motor Groups. So as I want to demonstrate to you how to transform the business, how to introduce a new business strategy, you need to have some tangible example. Otherwise, it's really hard to communicate. So United Motor Groups creates economical cars for everyone. Yeah, so these are budget cars, and so now the situation is like this. So they getting a little bit into trouble. So as you can see on the charts on the leftmost chart, so the number of sold cars goes down step by step from 2016 to 2019. So they're selling less and less cars, less and less cars. The revenue also unsurprisingly goes down. And now on the right side, you see the NPS score. So for all of you who are not so familiar with the score, I'll quickly explain what NPS score means. So it stands for Net Promoter Score. And this sort of score measures so the willingness of a customer to recommend a company's product or services to other. So maybe you get some from other companies emails asking you, are you willing to recommend this product to somebody else? How willingness are you to do this? So, and in total, this number that you get is a proxy for estimating the overall customer satisfaction. So if you want to measure your customer satisfaction or customer experience with just one number, many companies prefer to use the NPS score. So as you can see here, I marked these bars in colors. So you see, okay, well, it was really okay in 2016, but then gradually the NPS score degraded into 2018 and then stabilized in a very low level. So this is a problem, and the management of the United Motor Group says, okay, we need a new strategy we shift and we focus on customer experience. So we want to make this really great. They want to provide the best customer experience on the market. So internally, they want to be called, say, the happiest customer company. So that's what United Motor Groups is all about. So now they have this new strategy, and as it is often, since see these visions, the strategy, the goals are there, maybe mostly in PowerPoint. And then there is a lower level of business processes, and this is the problem. This is really the challenge of connecting these. Yeah, connecting the vision, the strategy, and the goals to the lower level business processes that actually deliver the strategy, that execute the strategy in the end. Yeah. So, and this is really important in both directions. The first direction is all about the planning. So you need to define strategic and operational targets, so from a higher level, or explore new business models, and then also also connect them to the low-level processes that are underneath. So for the planning, it's really important to have a plan that actually works and can be executed. But on the other hand, it's also really important to connect it for controlling. So because the operations, they provide feedback if targets were achieved or if there are any issues and so on. So you need also to have a communication channel that goes up. And this is also basically the structure of the little demo that I'm going to show you in a second. So first of all, it's all about the definition of strategic and operational targets, and also about the control and the operations providing you feedback. And we're also going to have a look into the exploration of new business models and how you can do this with ARIS. So next, I want to show you all this in the tour. So let's dive right in. So what you see here is the ARIS Connect portal. So that's the view that Mark Manager, that's the person we are logged in with, currently sees. And what you see here is the enterprise process landscape. So here are all the processes of the United Motor Groups documented. So, and in today's webinar, we're going to look at the enterprise strategy. So what you see here, is a diagram.
Simon, we don't
see the demo.
You need to share the browser window. Click on share and share your whole desktop.
So,
yes.
Now you should see.
Yeah.
Sorry
Working.
for this. So, what you see here is the enterprise strategy of the United Motor Groups. So, and as I said in the slides before, the United Motor Groups want to become the #1 car supplier. That's what you see here. So that's the big vision that the United Motor Groups has. And the vision is connected to the mission of providing a unique customer experience and also for the best possible price to our customers. So the idea of the United Motor Groups is, so now we want to focus so much on customer experience, but we want to also stay true to our roots of being a budget car company. Yeah, so that they are still affordable for the many, but the focus is on the customer experience. And this mission is then broken down further. Here in ARIS, you can see with 3 strategies that they want to, that they're after. So the first of all strategy is providing an outstanding customer experience. And this is connected to some of the goals of improving the buyer experience, which is tremendously important. They want to deploy and measure more metrics. So in addition to the NPS score that I introduced you to earlier, they want to have more metrics that correspond to customer experience management. And then also they noted that it's really important to respond to these support calls faster. So that's an issue they had in the past, they already know. That's the goal they want to achieve. Then they have a second one, which is about boosting efficiency and implement revenue growth. So to be still a budget car company, or you need to be really, really efficient in what you build. So, and then they have also several other goals. I don't go into the details, but they are about increasing the process efficiency, sales process performance, and so on. And lastly, we have a strategy which is all about the expanding and optimizing the product portfolio. Because what United Motor Groups wants to do, they don't just want to do the same thing, but with a higher customer experience. They really want to think in new sort of a car that provide, or new business models that provide a high customer experience. So one of these points is to discover really new business models, increase a higher profit product services, and they want to also do acquisitions of profitable niche car players and so on. So, but in this webinar, we are going to look into these two goals in more detail. Yeah, and the first one will be about discovering these new business models, and we're going to look into this and how to do this with ARIS. The first one is a business model canvas, and maybe some of you are familiar with this already. So that's one of these business models that United Motor Groups thinks going to be really valuable in the future. So it's all about one value proposition that are in the center of this diagram, which is the new United Motor Groups Xperi car. And the idea of United Motor Groups is, oh, we want to build a car that can be completely customized. Yeah, that can be colored in any way you want. So, and one of the role models could be something like from a Mini Cooper, which can be colored in any way you like. And this is the value proposition of this car. And this diagram, so this business model canvas, allows you to build and enter a business model to see, well, is this actually working? Will this provide any revenue? And you can see if we go from the value proposition to the right side, we see, well, we're going to look at following customer relations, which is the online community. That's how they want to sell it through the channels. And then we have a customer segment, which they want to mostly sell this to Europe. And one important thing is you can color this, but this car is completely sold online. It's an online car. There is no so in addition to the traditional stores, you can customize this completely online. Then on the lower level, you have revenue streams. So that's where the money comes in. So from the customer to the revenue. And on the left side, you can see the entire cost structure and everything you need in order to create this value proposition. And this is where ARIS is really strong, because you can already look in your company if you already have all the necessary key activities and maybe what sort of activities are missing in order to make this business model a reality. So for example, in our case, we already have the key activities of research and development and marketing and sales. So this is already available. We can already take this from our company and use this in this business model. So this is one example. So, and now United Motor Groups is also thinking about a new ride-sharing platform, which is very similar to Uber. Many of you might know Uber is a very famous platform for ride-sharing. And this is something which is based on an ecosystem. So if you're thinking about building a platform, you always have a good give and take relationship between all the participants on the platform. So you have to have good flows that match this give and take. And this is something you can model with ARIS. So you can see here, for example, this is now United Motor Group's ride-sharing platform. So they intend to have some digital platform, and they have then some participants, the drivers and the passengers. And these arrows there indicate that there is something the passenger does on the platform, or the platform does for the driver. For example, he books and pays, and the platform provides payment, pickup, and opportunities in cars. And you can even model the type of relationship. For example, saying that this is a financial stream, and the blue one is an informational stream. So, and this is important in order to analyze the dynamics if the platform concept is working in the end, or if there's a negative dynamic, we see, okay, well, the passenger is only given, but doesn't get anything. So this is something where you can explore this sort of platform-based business in ARIS. So now let's go back to the overall business strategy. In the example before, I showed you this pyramid and saying, well, it's really important to connect the strategy with all the lower level business processes. And this is what I want to talk about for the reminder part of the demonstration. And I want to show you how you can connect this high level strategy that you see here with the lower level processes. And we're going to look at the following example, which is the goal of improving the buyer experience. So imagine that United Motor Groups wants to improve this. And if we look at this and now thinking, okay, how to connect this? You can see this in the following diagram. We see we have the goal of improving the buyer experience. We have some responsible person, which is the head of sales of United Motor Groups. Then the way this goal should be achieved is by introducing a new digital customer lifecycle management system, and the CIO office and the project team are responsible in order to make this happen. But now it's really important to measure this goal. Measurement is usually done, and also in ARIS is done using key performance indicator. First and foremost is the Net Promoter Score, but we also have others like the customer satisfaction, the revenue on car sales, the customer acquired, and the amount of test drives are all indicators in order to better understand if this goal has been reached. And now we see the connections to the low-level processes, which is one is the internal process, the order to cash process, and the other one is a customer journey. So providing the outside-in perspective on the process. And we're going to look at this into more detail. So if we dive into this, so now we are really at the lower level in order to achieve the goal. What you see here is the customer journey. And you see here from left to right, different customer steps. Yeah, we're looking at the purchase journey, which is like one of the steps is driving a test car. The next one is selecting, configuring it, receiving the car, rating the experience of the process, and lastly, as handing over the car to maintenance. So, and these are the different customer steps. And then you see below each step is a series of other objects that are connected to the step. So first is this one, that's the customer touch point. A customer touch point, in a nutshell, is the interface between the customer and the inside activities of the company. So this is where everything comes together. For example, if the customer wants to drive the test car, the touch point is the test car itself that United Motor Groups provides. And then this is connected to a person that is responsible for the touch point. You can add certain risks. For example, a risk could be that the test car is not clean and leaves a bad first impression. And then you can have initiatives modeled to this test car, to this touch point, which is, for example, providing a pre-check by professional cleaning service staff. So looking at this as one customer journey, and if we scroll down, we see this a customer step can be connected to a Net Promoter Score. So now we have the connection really on the customer journey between a touch point or a customer step and the Net Promoter Score. So now the question is, now we have broken down the strategy and connected it to the lower level processes or customer journeys. Now the question is, how can we control if the goal has been achieved or not? And for this, I want to go up the hierarchy, because this is usually where the management looks at. So this is a very high level view of the company where you have just the strategies and the goals. And now the question is, how can we measure if a goal has been achieved or not? And this is where ARIS Aware comes into play. And what you see here on the right side are interactive dashboards that allow you to have a quick view on if goals on the objectives and if they have been accomplished. So you see, for example, one of the goals was to deploy in the measure of customer experience metrics, and the goal accomplishment is red. So this is a very simple system. And we see this goal hasn't been accomplished yet. Of course, this can be customized into more variations. So, but now we want to look at how about the improved buyer experience. Let's dive in a little bit deeper. And if we look at this, then you can see that the system takes the KPIs that you saw in the other in the other screen. So looking at the amount of test drive, the customer acquired, customer satisfaction, NPS score, and the revenue, and looks if the goal has been accomplished. And in our case, you can see, well, for United Motor Groups, there is quite some work to do because all of these colors are red. So, and these indicate that the goal has not been accomplished so far. So, but this is the way you can, so you can really break down the strategy from a high level into the business processes or customer journeys where the action and the transformation really happens. And then you can control all these, control the progress using KPIs in a much higher level view. So, and with this, I want to go back to the presentation. And quickly recap on what we have seen. So first of all, we saw that we can connect the strategy to the business processes. So this is one really important things. Many companies, they stop at the PowerPoint and then they are unconnected to all the processes that are actually changing the way the company is working. So then we also looked at the definition of business models with ARIS, which is something unique as you can even try out these business models. Then we looked at the breakdown of business strategy into these manageable parts. We looked at the KPIs as a central way to measure the success. And we looked into ARIS Aware for visualizing these KPIs in order to take action if things do not work in the way they should. And with this, I would like to hand over back to Josèphe.
Yes. Thanks, Simon. Can you hear me? Is it working? Yes.
Yes, Josèphe, go on.
Okay, thanks. Thanks very much for the feedback. Yeah, thank you a lot, Simon, for this great demo and all these insights. I think it's very valuable for you all to see how to connect the strategy with the operations, with the business processes, where if they are internal or external, doesn't matter, but just really to connect the strategy with the operation. So that's why I really like this story. Thank you, Simon. But still to help you in the line, to help you to transfer the story to your own transformation story, to your own strategic challenges, which I'm sure you have. I would like to have a concrete customer examples for you, so a concrete customer story. If you see the name Philips, and I'm sure you're aware of the fact that electronics is for sure an industry where change and transformation play a major role. So that's why I took this example here. So I could have taken another one, but I think this one is really loaded with change and transformation issues. And basically, Philips started many years ago with a similar challenge, like our example today. So they noticed that there were too unfocused. They started to have some issues on the market. The company was really big, and thus it was becoming somehow too slow to deliver the right products and services, and also to make customers happy in the end. Looking back at the story of Philips, they had some stagnation, there were a lack of focus behind, and in the past they had some focused acquisitions, but also some really big divestments like TV lighting, and as a result, the company really had a lot of different process variation across the different business lines and the markets, and that was not reflecting basically the strategy of the company, and the IT landscape in the end was really highly fragmented because of the different process variations. So to put it in a nutshell, the company was too slow, they couldn't respond, and they were not able to be in control of the challenges they were encountering. And from there, they started a huge transformation program, so that with this transformation program, they wanted to increase speed and lower cost. So they called this the Accelerate program, and their goal was basically And I'm sure somebody in the line has exactly this problem. Their goal was to transform the company from a broad electronics company into a lean healthcare technology company. So really to do that, they would need to completely rethink the way that they would run the business. So, and they did this transformation based on ARIS. So their structure was that they used a framework, completely revised framework, which was focusing on customer centricity, that was in our example before, operational excellence and growth. So it comes again to the same examples. And this framework was built entirely basically in ARIS, to be exact in ARIS Connect, so that they could ensure that the adoption was wide among the management, but also among the workforce. So as said before, and as also the customer and Chevo said at the beginning of the presentation, transformation is a journey, yeah? So the company step after step transformed and improved itself. So even in 2018, Philips was still working on improving, and they extended their framework to replace really dozens of traditional document-based management system, and they all replaced that with ARIS Connect. Oops, sorry. And in the end, the result was that they really were able to improve their agility. So from the strategy into the operations, they were able to bridge the gap and to improve the agility and get in control over their ways of working. So really, thanks to ARIS, the Philips strategy has come to reality. It enables the operational excellence, including all that comes with that. So also the rollout of innovation. They also reduced the complexity in many processes. They saved basically millions of euros with that, and achieved better quality, and they increased also quality control. So to put it in a nutshell, Philips, like our example, and like other companies like Vodafone and like many other reference customers of ARIS that you can see on our website, they have used ARIS to bring strategic vision into operations. And by the way, I said on softwareag.com, there's a tab which is called Customers, and then you can see some customer stories and some customer statement related to that. And as I said at the beginning, today we saw how the company make a dramatic strategic change to survive on the market. And I said at the beginning, it's the series. So today was the first episode, and next time in the next webinar, we will have Dr. Dominic van der Hagen, who will take us through the next step of this transformation story, which really much more focuses on the optimized topic. That means how does the company gets it to achieve its operational excellence we're talking about all the time. So, and to give you a short summary, so you saw today that the company achieved successfully to adapt its business model, but still it needs to achieve the operational excellence, and that throughout the complete organization. So, and with a special data-driven dashboard, the management and this manager will be able to discover some dysfunction in some processes, and that will make everything possible to improve the processes and to make it more excellent, basically. So, and the transformation office in the end will have to make every single employee of the organization to contribute to the organization success, and basically to work for the excellence. And the question is for the next webinar will be if the workforce will accept the challenge and if that will be working. This next webinar is planned for September 17th, so please stay tuned, and also make a note in your calendar. On October 2nd, we will have the third part of this series, which is the control part. And as I'm sure everyone wants to know a little bit more about this second episode, I have some small spoilers for you. So what you will hear and what you will see really in the live demo in ARIS, it will be really about learning and seeing how the dashboarding functionality works and shows the KPIs and figures to take the right decision. It will give you also some insights on the root cause analysis, so how to find out where the problems are in the processes. You will have a view on the process refinement, whether it's an internal or an external process, and also on the management approvals, rollout, and how to enable the workforce. So as you can see, probably the next webinar will last a little bit longer, but it will be also thrilling, so don't miss it. Register on the web page. So also on the Software AG web page. So and now it's time for the Q&A. So I would like to start the question and answers. So I will have a view in the chat fenster in the Q&A fenster window. Sorry, window. If we have some question, I can see that I have some, not in the Q&A, but some in my private chat. So I will ask the question loud for us, Simon, yeah? And we'll see if we can go through this. So the first question is, are these strategy models all available within the ARIS standard license? So maybe you can give us some hints, yeah, Simon.
Yeah, so we have an extension pack called Business Strategy, which already indicates that this is not the case. But for the Connect Designer, if you're using this one, it's included. But if you're using these with the architect, for example, the architect, you need to have a separate extension pack.
All right, thank you. That was fast. I look again in the Q&A because I have another one in my private chat. How can I, if I use, where I'm rewording somehow, wait a second. So how can I make sure that not everyone sees all the details on the strategic content? Because some things are interesting for everyone, but some not. So how can I share? Yeah, make sure not everyone access everything, I think is the question.
Yeah, so ARIS has a quite big rights management system to target especially this, but going here into details, this would be a bit beyond the scope. But you can assign rights to view certain content or do not see certain content. So it's not that everybody can see everything all the time in ARIS, which is not the case. So you can have a very fine-grained way of defining who's seeing what.
Yeah. I think you mean the roles and authorizations concepts of ARIS.
Yeah, exactly. So at this moment, the mark manager has quite a big, a lot of different rights. But in an organization and a typical organization, we have lots of these roles that all see different things. So this is something you can configure.
Thanks, Simon. I see another one regarding the dashboarding functionality. So just to answer before, we will have a lot more in the next webinar, but still, in which product is this dashboard, what we saw on the right-hand side, with this dashboard functionality, where is it available?
So the dashboarding functionality is an extension pack to ARIS. It's called ARIS Aware. It's like staying aware. Which is really the essence of it. So you have at a glance view on the on numbers of, for example, the process landscape, but it's a separate extension pack. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If I need a different dashboard, can I adapt it, or do I need to use what you show?
So there are some example dashboards, but you can configure these dashboards any way you like. Yeah. So there are lots of different types of dashboards. So of say charts already available. You can define data sources that you want to use. Do some filtering look which chart types fit the most to you. So what I showed you is really a very small subset of what Aware can do. Yeah. In the next webinar, you're going to see a whole lot more of what you could do with dashboarding. Yeah.
Exact. Thanks. And obviously, all questions are coming privately to me. I don't know why, but it's the way it is. One last question I have on my list, so don't hesitate to ask other questions to the other people. If I want to do the same like you did, showed today, which products do I need? So I think ARIS Connect, ARIS.
Okay. Yeah. So you need to have what we looked at when I showed the demo was the Connect Viewer. So that's our component for rolling out the process landscapes to the workforce, so to everybody. So everybody doesn't mean like everybody can see it, but you can define roles and rights and all these aspects. So this is something for viewing, for modeling. In order to create these, you could use the Connect Designer, for example, or you could also use the ARIS Architect, but need then the extension pack, or the ARIS Designer. Also, you need the extension pack. And then for the dashboards, you would need the component ARIS Aware, and that should be it. Yeah, but don't. So from shortly thinking about this, should be it. Yeah.
I think for my, it's right. So now it's good. I motivated some people to ask questions in the Q&A. So I have two questions here. Are you moving away from Designer Architect to ARIS Connect? Do we expect that Windows-based product will be phased out soon to give place to the browser-based products? I don't know if you can answer that, Simon.
Yeah,
we keep that for afterwards.
It's a bit beyond maybe the scope, but let me try. So we see a lot of movements into web products generally. So more and more is going to the web. But we still, while we continue to increase the capabilities of our web-based products, we also increase the capabilities of the ARIS Architect and Designer, so to have because these are already highly capable products themselves. So we do support both, and we do not plan to discontinue any one of them in the near future. Yeah.
I think that was a nice try and a nice answer. I have a second question for the same person is, how can we make sure that all these models reflect reality? How can we ensure that they are updated automatically or maybe semi-automatically to reduce the efforts and the errors?
Okay, well, that's a very general question. To sync the modeled world with the real world, which is always a challenge. So in order to stay updated, for example, it makes sense as soon as you have these have new strategies, having new goals, to also model them in ARIS and connect them to the business strategy. So have your center of excellence, for example, doing these connections. Then in terms of checking automatically if things are still say in the latest version, you could use, for example, the ARIS process governance to have more a release cycle management that ensures that everything is compliant, for example, or that you have a workflow in place that ensures that the model is modeled correctly, that the content that there is in different I would say frequently, that once there's an update, you can also integrate the update, and the update is integrated in the right way, for example. So this is something where our workflow system, ARIS process governance, could be of great help, to ensure this. And many of our companies actually doing this in this way,
Okay, thank you.
Customers, not companies. Customers. I'm sorry.
Okay. And and the our attendee is saying thank you. Thanks a lot, Simon. I think that's it for the questions. I don't see any others, but basically don't hesitate to contact us. You'll find us on the ARIS community and also on social media, etc. So there are many ways to get answers to your questions. I have two more informations for you. First is that the recording will be made available on YouTube, but also on this web page afterwards. So if you want to find some more information about enterprise management system, you just need to go to the softwareag.com website, Insights and Innovation, and then you click here on Enterprise Management System. If you scroll down, you'll find a lot about the reference statements I mentioned before. There's an ebook, and there's also the webinar series I was mentioning today, and later on we will also connect the recording there. And there you can register for the next webinars. So don't miss that page. And yeah, as a last word from my side, I would like to thank everyone for the attendance and for the attention, and also for all the questions. Special thanks for you, Simon, for the thrilling presentation, the demo, and also the answers to all the questions we had. So thanks, Simon. And yeah, the recording, I said, will be available on YouTube, and we hope to see you on September 17th for the next episode of this thrilling transformation story. So thanks, everyone. Have a good day, and talk to you soon. Bye.